Hey there! Did you know if you sign up for a free 30-day trial of First membership, you could watch Always Open 24 hours early, amongst other live podcasts and shows? Well, click here to sign up for your free trial, and we'll see you on Wednesdays. Saw, dude. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Always Open. I am your host for this evening, Barbara Dunkelman, and with me today I am Lindsay Jones. Hello.
Griffin Ramsey.
I'm Mariel Salcedo. That's a beautiful intro.
You guys nailed it. That was like a very calm intro.
Yeah.
I feel like we arranged.
I didn't really know where to look, so I was suddenly got nervous. But I did remember my name.
Okay, there you go. That's the most important part.
I just like that in the jib shot too. I just started being my weird self and I was messing with the condensation. I looked at the wide and I was like, I'm jacking off that cup. I should probably stop.
See, people are suddenly subconsciously very turned on right now.
Yes, I know. It's all subliminal. What does this straw mean? You don't know.
I couldn't really tell because I was also looking at the camera to make sure we were good, but I thought you like told Meryl your name, like I'm Griffin Ramsey.
I was like,
Oh yeah, nice to meet you.
just looking around.
Just look up.
Anywhere the camera might be.
Tags, please.
So let's start things off with our shot, which Meryl and I are gonna do your guys' shots.
We're in a double
Yeah,
up.
take them.
Thank you
We're
very
in a
much.
double up. Let's see how
Watch.
this goes.
And I mean,
We'll drink vicariously through you.
I think this could only end well for us.
Yeah.
Personally. So this one is submitted by Alyssa L, and it is called the Hot and Bothered Shot, and it consists of vodka, peach schnapps, and lime juice. So I don't know if we want to like double fist these.
Yeah. Why not?
Cheers.
Let's do it live.
Not at the same time though.
Sober cheers, I guess.
I feel like you should have to do them at the same time or it doesn't count.
That's true. Okay, one
Too late.
on
Too
the
late.
sides.
We'll have to get another round for these two.
Like both in the same mouth.
Shall we sober cheer?
Great.
Sober cheer.
Yes.
I'm
Sobriety, friends.
highly caffeinated. Cheers.
Yeah, well, yeah. Mine's not caffeinated either.
Oh, you don't get anything. Oh man, can I tell you? After I was pregnant, I fucking hated Sprite. I fucking
Oh, really?
hated Sprite.
Why?
I'm getting
Because it was the only thing I could drink for like 10 months. I fucking hated it.
Wait, you guys, you can't drink caffeine? I
thought
know
you could have
nothing.
caffeine
I
in,
literally
like a
know
tiny
nothing.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I would
decaf coffee every now and then. I've
definitely.
been doing that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, there's so much guilt that you suddenly, like, preemptive guilt. You feel like if anything goes wrong with this baby, it's my
Or
fault.
do you feel like a lot of people also, like if they see you drinking coffee?
Oh, they
like,
judge for sure.
I got
absolutely.
hassled. Like, I think the first, like, when I was really sick, the only thing I could imagine stomaching was a Caesar salad at this restaurant. And I tried to take a bite, and somebody was like, "You can't have that. There might be anchovies in there."
Oh my god.
And I was like, "Fuck!" And so then I couldn't eat anything.
Shit.
Just because you just felt that guilt.
People have a lot of opinions about your
oh,
baby.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
so,
was just
so
thinking
Lindsay,
of-
you are,
I am.
if
Yeah.
people don't know, pregnant.
Surprise.
Congrats, which is amazing.
Dropping the news here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, I mean, people, I think, if they watch our content, know by
Right.
now.
If they're true fans.
Yeah.
You don't think you're not. So have you found other people being really bossy about what you should do and how you should be?
Not really like bossy, but definitely, I don't know. It's, I guess for me, it feels like implied motherhood. Like, I'm going to take you under my wing now and give you some advice. And you're like, all right, that's cool. Like, I'll take it. That's fine. I feel like advice is like a buffet. Everything's out there and you take what you want and everything else you just leave
It's a good way
there.
to look at
Yeah,
it.
that is a good
Yeah,
way to look
that's
at
it. So my family's been pretty sweet about it. Coworkers are fine. I mean, I think the best advice that I got was from Eric in promotions. He said, don't listen to any advice you get because no one knows what the fuck they're doing. He's like, okay, cool. That'll work.
It's true.
Well, and it's sort of fad-based in some ways too. I mean, and cultural, you know, as far as like the foods you can eat and everything. It is kind of like different other places.
I think not really judgment. It was she was genuinely concerned, but the first time that it was like, oh my god, like what are you doing? I went to the pharmacy to pick up some prenatals, and then I got headache medicine for Michael. And as I was checking out, the woman looked at me holding the headache medicine. She was like, "Are you gonna take that?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's for my husband." She's like, "Oh, okay, thank God." I was very worried. I'm like, "All right, calm down. I'm just buying for someone else.
Yeah.
It's not mine, I promise."
I think you could do Tylenol, right? If you're allowed
Yeah,
Tylenol.
Tylenol's cool.
So what
Tylenol
are
and
like
Sprite.
what are the big no-nos? Obviously, alcohol, smoking.
Crack. Yes, I think that might be on
Also,
the
might
list.
be a big no-no.
Ortiz, a-okay.
Did you say orgies?
Yeah,
You
totally
need
fine.
them because you get fucking horny. Have you noticed,
I
like,
haven't hit that stage yet. I'm
Really?
definitely in the stage where I'm like, don't touch me.
no,
none
I
of that.
definitely did.
In a
Not
week,
really.
you're gonna be like,
Hey, Michael. Lindsay, God, keep it together.
you're just gonna be like hitting on everything that moves.
You look somewhat phallic. Get over here.
I feel like almost everything I know about pregnancy is gonna sound terrible is from the show Friends.
That's great.
Because when Rachel was pregnant and she was like trying to give birth and she wouldn't, they're like, well, sex helps induce labor. So I feel like that's a little known fact that I know.
That's it. I wonder,
from
I'm
Friends.
sure it's happened. Like someone is having sex and they're like, my water broke. I have to go now.
Be like,
to the
"Baby,
hospital."
You're real wet.
Oh man, just really into this.
Yeah.
I really don't know much about pregnancies. Now that I think about it, I mean, my sister, like the one that I've had cousins and stuff, but the only one that I've been actually close to is my sister-in-law, where she had my niece and my nephew. But even then, they live so far away that I was like never actually close by. So I'm gonna be watching you.
Oh yeah,
like,
do it.
How
Study
are,
me.
you, how are you today, Lindsay?
I'll
Tell
call
me.
you Jane Goodall.
Yeah,
with me.
You're taking notes?
Notepads,
notes?
whatnot.
But luckily, my friend, we have a group of 4 who we've been friends since like 5th grade, and she was always the mother figure, so it's very appropriate that she was the first one to get pregnant. And she actually just had her baby today, so I have her as a nice like guideline. So I'm like, noted.
You're like,
Noted.
don't do it.
How dare you?
Turn back now.
Exactly. Get rid of it. Get it out of there. God. We were talking about that
dark.
before. I know, I'm sorry. We were talking about that before we started out. Extra Life, like Michael was making dead baby jokes, and we were too. And people were like, "Oh, he's drunk. He doesn't know what he's doing." I'm like, "We're fucked up people. 1, so we're gonna make those kind of jokes, and 2, my mom miscarried twice. It's totally possible this could happen. So I'd rather laugh about it if it does. Be
Just
like,
don't laugh. Just don't laugh too hard.
Yeah, exactly. Don't cause it. Fuck. Hubris.
Pop
It's
out
all
of there
hubris.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you almost have to make those jokes to like lessen the blow if something bad does happen, because I feel like if a lot of people, they put like everything into it, not thinking like, oh, something could go wrong.
Yep.
Then you're just gonna be.
I feel like that's with
Fucked up.
everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's like
We called
life.
it the Katie Seagal factor. I don't know if you guys know about that. Was it Married with Children she was on? I can't remember what show. But she, on the show, they wrote an entire season for her because she was pregnant. And it was leading up to the pregnancy. And they were like, oh, cool, we'll write in this character. It'll be great. She had a miscarriage. So
Oh,
then
God.
they wrote in that it was a whole dream sequence and it never happened. And I was like,
yeah.
God, that's so depressing. Like, oh my God, how devastating.
And have
So-
to act that out too. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm ever gonna have a baby. So I'm just kind of like living vicariously through everyone else who has ever been pregnant. My
Don't eat
best.
sushi with me. Do it.
Oh, you can't eat sushi, right? Because the mercury.
Right,
No
and
raw
then
fish.
and different bacteria. I actually know
Listeria
somebody who had some
concern.
shellfish in Paris when she was pregnant and got toxoplasmosis.
Ugh.
And her kids have a lot of health problems.
Woof.
Wow.
I mean, I could have like veggie sushi. That's fine.
Yeah, like avocado.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Nice, a
it's
nice California roll.
is
like
it
a
the
Philly roll.
fish then? It's not the seaweed.
Yeah,
or
the
anything
raw
like
meat.
that? Okay.
Yep,
food.
yep. And no, what is it? Cold cuts either.
Oh, another benefit of being pregnant, you are not allowed to change the litter box.
really?
You're not, that's
Oh,
another
yeah,
way
that's-
to get toxoplasmosis.
That's right. And
that's
some
what
people
it's
were worried. I was messing with someone's cat. Michael was like, "Get away from it! You can't touch cats
No.
for so long." I'm like, "I can't touch cats while I'm pregnant."
No.
Wait, do you guys have cats?
No, it was
No,
like a
okay.
neighbor cat or something. They were like,
You
"Oh."
would think that Lindsay would have a cat,
Yeah,
but she
I
doesn't.
think
Which
Just, I think if you touch them, you could wash your hands, but definitely can't handle the litter box. It's just you can't. So
He was worried about it clawing me too, and of course they got all the litter
Yeah.
up in there.
that's
Yeah.
that's
all
true.
the business.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I definitely want some kids. Pop some out, maybe. Hopefully. I don't know.
I'm feeling like
We'll
it.
see.
Well, just
We'll
like
see what my future
study
holds.
study everything about Lindsay.
Yeah,
for
that's
the
what I
next
already told you. I'm
couple
gonna take notes.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, change my mind.
Yeah.
The best was my friend told me that pretty close to delivery, she said one night in the middle of the night she thought she was having her water break and she was like, oh my God, I have to go to the hospital. No, she just peed herself, like totally wet the entire
That
bed.
is
She's like,
fucking hilarious.
sorry.
That's amazing. That's like probably the most embarrassing peace story I've ever heard.
It's great. I like that her husband was like, oh, it's wonderful, the miracle of life. Oh,
Oh, no, you
he's
just-
pissed
It
all
is a
over.
miracle of life of a fashion.
It's true.
The fact that we exist at all is a miracle, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's true. Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of something that you can't do when you're pregnant, which is drinking, but I mean,
you can talk about it.
we all
It's
enjoy
fine.
it. We're gonna start off with the worst, and this is submitted by Tori. It's the worst hangover you've ever had.
Ooh.
Mine was last year, 2 years ago, when I turned 23. A friend of mine it was her 21st birthday, and she was still in college, so she's like, let's go out, let's do it. And all of our friends were like, yeah, let's go out. So they went out with us and left at like 11 p.m. And so
Left to go out at 11?
No, they like went home. Like they were like, all right, like it's been a fun night, like we're done. And so I felt so bad for her because she was like, oh, like it's my 21st birthday, you know, I've waited so long for this. And so I was like, let's just do it, like let's go hard. So we go and we get super plastered. She's had been working in the service industry, so she's been drinking for a very long time.
Then
I know, but I think it was still the fact of like, oh, now it's legal.
Well, it's legal, yeah.
Which, anyway. is
Hope
a
no
diff-
cops are listening to this episode.
Yeah, I won't give her name.
You guys were in Canada.
It's fine now. But anyway, so we get super hammered. I'm keeping up with her because she drinks like a man. And we the next morning, I forgot that I had a volunteer event with a friend of mine from college. So she calls me at like 7 a.m. and she's like, hey, like, you know, I'm coming to pick you up. Like, it's this huge project. I think it's just called The Project that UT puts on. And it's like all of these students come and they volunteer their time to like fix up a neighborhood and all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
So I'm there and I'm like literally the worst hangover that I've ever had in my entire life. Throwing up in a elementary school.
Yes.
Just like sitting on like the benches and like they have those bleachers in the gym that like pull out and just like curled up in a ball. Like, please don't make me do a good deed. Like, I don't want to.
Did you at least get like the coolness from the bleachers? You know how they're like usually metal and nice and cold?
It was like hard plastic, but like it wasn't like a fun plastic. You got your fun plastics and mostly it's the worst just because I was such a terrible person because like I couldn't get it together enough to like help out the community. And then also they had brought in like free food, and so I was like, listen, I'm just gonna take a burger and I'm gonna go home and I need to lay on the couch for the rest of the day. And the friend that I volunteered with is actually my current roommate. She brings it up all the time just to remind me how terrible I was.
Well,
That's what friends do.
It's a good reminder not to drink that much anymore.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still have done it, but you know, it was just. I think it was just the fact that like
But you remember it.
the next morning I was in so much pain, and my friend who it was her birthday, she was like, all right, like I'm fine, I'm good to go. I'm just like, damn, like that's the difference between 23 and 21. It was such a huge like.
Well, did she drink a lot of water?
I don't know.
Because it's possible she was sneaking that in between drinks.
That's true.
Because
And I just
then,
didn't notice.
no hangover. You're
But
good.
yeah, man. I couldn't pull it together to be a good person. Just couldn't do it.
That's
I
like
stole food and then I went home.
I feel like this should be a PSA.
Right?
Mariel drank too much.
She
My
drank too
children cried.
Yeah, she couldn't rebuild a park.
And she hugged a bleacher for 4 hours.
Yeah, basically. And then went home and bitched all day. That was mine.
Yeah,
Nice,
my
nice.
worst hangover was also pretty recently, like sometime in the last 2 years. I went out with a few of my female friends, which always is like the case for trouble because on 6th Street here in Austin, there's always these guys outside just standing on the street looking for groups of girls being like, hey, first drink's on us, come
Yeah.
on into our bar.
Yep.
And
Or
we're
it's like ladies' night, free shots. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, free shots, huh?
And we would just
I'm in.
do that. We
Yeah.
would just walk on 6th Street and just like take whatever offer we
Go
would
into
get.
one, and
Yeah.
then you leave and you
Yeah.
go to another
Exactly.
one.
Your
Yeah.
first and last drink.
Thanks for the free drink. Peace out.
Yeah.
See ya.
Which is probably a really shitty move to be like,
I-
thanks for the free drink, now we're leaving.
Everyone does it though. Like,
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. I think they just need pretty girls to decorate the bar to lure in.
Even just for a
Yes.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like a lot of these places we would go to, we'd be like the only people in the bar, and then we'd be like, so like when could we leave to go to another place? But this was one night in particular where we were just like, let's just go to as many places as possible and get as many free drinks as we can. And that was a mistake because one of the places we went to, they were passing around this tray of shots.
Oh god.
And they were free shots. And we had no idea what was in them or anything like that, and we all took them after we'd already been drinking. I don't know what was in them, but like we all instantly got drunk, like really, really drunk. I
Probably
think
roofies.
probably.
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah, it sounds like it.
it's very possible. And like I don't want to say for sure if it was or wasn't, but we all were just like, "Do you feel like really drunk?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Do you? And they're like, "Yeah, we should probably go." So luckily we were able to get out of there pretty fast, and we took a cab back to one of my friend's apartments. And that's also the first time I ever threw up from being drunk. Was that
Really?
night.
Nice.
First time ever.
Wow.
And they were like holding my hair. It was like classic
Like,
story.
quintessential, yeah.
And me being like, I don't know what happened. Like I don't
Never gonna drink again.
never. Until
Where's
next weekend.
Brittany?
Where's Brittany? I think she's dead.
Like, dude, I don't know who Brittany is. I'm sorry.
I think the worst part about drinking a lot is trying to go to sleep. Because I know some people just pass out when they're really drunk.
Oh.
But for me, I get the spins.
I get the
yeah.
spins bad too.
Like
It
to
sucks.
the point where like someone told me to put a foot out and on the floor when you're in the bed because it like
Helps
grounds
stables
you.
you. Yeah.
But I just couldn't. Everything was just spinning, and I felt like my stomach was turning. And then in the morning, I was like, I'm dying.
So I usually don't get bad hangovers, but the going home after we've hit that point of
Yeah.
like Lindsay's way too drunk, that's the worst because of the spins and like, you know, trying to get your shit together. And then there's also the nice piecing together your morning where like my clothes are over
God.
here, my purse is over here. There's my vomit. Okay, cool.
No,
glad
I
that's
think
there.
the worst part of the hangover is like, oh, what did I say? Oh,
Yep,
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
Did I
You're like,
text-
oh, that's so embarrassing.
Yep. Well, and now you like with like Snapchat or something, like most people if they get drunk, and especially for me, I get drunk and I'm like, fuck it, like that's so funny. And I wake up at like 9 a.m. and I'm just like, why did I post all
yeah.
that?
You send it to all your clients.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know.
Check in with your
I
boss.
CC'd everybody.
I'm most worried about Twitter because like we all
Oh.
have fairly large followings on a social media
Brag about
platform. like,
In case
do
you
as
guys
well.
didn't know.
at B Dunkelman, go follow me. But it's like really terrifying because every now and then I'm like, this is really funny. I should tweet this.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
well, I mean, a lot of people here have drunk Twitters too. The only thing I
do.
worry about that stuff is like,
Yeah, but that's too much thought to be like, I
Yeah.
better change accounts. Like, who's
Yeah.
thinking at that point?
Yeah.
No.
I was, wow, where was I? I think it was with Miles and Carrie and Gray. It was one of our trips that we went on with
New York
Ruby, a
Comic-Con?
convention, maybe New York Comic Con. We were coming back and they're like, Lindsay, what's your drunk Twitter account? I'm like, my own one. I'm not here to fuck around.
Like, if I have to limit it to when I'm sober, I'm never going to use
exactly.
this
I'm like, that's
why
when the
can't you
best
just
content comes.
like follow it up with like, I'm drunk right now. Here's
Yeah.
a tweet.
thing. Yeah, and like as you sign up, like people in companies, so they sign it with their name.
yeah.
You sign with Drunk Lindsay.
yeah, there you go. It's like misspelled
Or just
horribly.
DL.
Goodness.
Yeah, I always worried about that stuff just because, I mean, I hope to stay here as long as possible, but just like if I ever
This
got
is the
another
most
job.
understanding company that you're ever
Yeah, I
going
was
to
gonna
work
say,
at for that kind of
relax
thing.
your
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, but like if if I ever go anywhere else, like, so besides all the things about me on the internet, just don't look at me.
Well, there was that girl who was a finalist for the Miss Teen USA pageant. Who we talked about it on like one of the pilot
yeah,
episodes.
yeah.
She had tweets from like, 2015
Yeah.
or earlier that had the N-word in it,
Right.
over
Yep,
and over and
yep,
over, and
you're
it's like, ooh, you wouldn't think to go maybe delete
Boy,
that.
howdy.
Yeah.
I've deleted some of my more questionable tweets from
Yeah.
earlier, and usually it's nothing
Like
that,
when you
that
use the
offensive.
N-word?
Yeah, you know, when I was dropping those, yeah. But just, you know, when I'm like dicking around with my friends and I insulted them, I was like, that was a little vicious. Let's
Yeah.
delete that.
That's
or
the
like,
best
you
thing
know,
for like time hop.
yeah, or blasting opinions about celebrities. I'm like, I should have said that about Miley Cyrus. I'm gonna get rid of that.
Sorry, Miley.
Sorry.
Yeah, she probably deserved it.
Yeah, I understand you can't be tamed. It's all right.
You know, I have no qualms about deleting social media posts. I know some people think it's kind of like a pussy move, but I don't think so
No.
at all.
I don't think so either.
It's just
It's a sign of maturity.
it's your brand. You know, you have to think
You're
about
also
it.
very much in the moment when you do
Yep.
a lot of stuff on social media. So it's like if you are no longer in that moment, there's no problem with
Yeah,
changing your
I'm
mind.
no longer 18.
Well, before like I guess I officially came out or whatever, there was someone who had gone back like years and retweeted a tweet of mine that was just like, oh, I miss my girlfriend. They were like, oh, look at that, like, oh, look at this, and I was just like, real, like, damn, dude, like, just fucking ask. Like,
Yeah.
you're really that curious.
Like there was one that I tweeted. It was when me and my sister were like not getting along for a little bit, and she tweeted something like sassy about my parents, and I was like, "Oh, you spoiled rich bitch!" And then like someone sent it to me, a fan, and they were like, "Oh, you and your sister upset?" I was like, "That was from 2007, but okay, sorry."
Yeah, I'm still here. Whoops, she's still rich and spoiled.
I do like going back in people's timelines though and finding like a really random tweet that they made and retweeting it and having like no context. Like I think Elise Willems tweeted something about Oreos in
yeah.
2012.
What was y'all's first tweets?
Oh god,
Do you
probably
remember
like,
it all or no?
hi Twitter, is this thing on?
Mike
Probably
test.
just like
Stupid, yeah.
lel first tweet.
Yeah.
I have no
I have
idea.
no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't remember when I started it.
Well, I know after we do this, people are gonna send them to us.
Yes.
Those
Yeah.
people are gonna go back.
I still remember
Oh,
mine.
yeah.
I'm gonna go
It's gonna be
delete
super
my
cool.
Twitter right now.
I didn't even plan it, but I'm so happy that it is what it is, and people bring it up every now and then. Like fans will mention it. Mine is listening to New Kids on the Block, the right stuff. Awesome! What a way to start.
Best tweet. I'm going back to hangovers.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Phew. I feel like worst hangover is gonna be a long story. Also, just funny thinking about it. Like when you tweet when you're drunk, I totally forgot until we started talking about it a second ago that the last Always Open I was on, I got trashed, pre-pregnancy, of course.
Of course.
And I tweeted Mariel, and we were talking about Selena, and I was like, Mariel, I want a bitty banga. I saw it the next day. I was like, the fuck am I talking about?
Do that. Yeah.
Worst hangover was probably Thanksgiving, not this past year, but the year before. I was with my family, and just once I wanted to be that family member who's like way too drunk, and I went way overboard.
Do a lot of people aspire to be that
Yes.
family member?
I know some people.
Some
who do,
people,
but,
that's the only way they get through the holidays.
Oh,
yes,
true.
Yeah, and usually
Very
I would
true.
drink a little bit, but I'm like, no, I'm going all out. I'm doing it. And of course, I chose wine, which is a terrible, terrible
Ooh,
idea.
that's my emotional drink.
no.
Yeah, that's when I wanna cry.
That's my blackout drink.
That's
like,
when I want
Lindsay's
to
not gonna
sleep.
remember this.
Usually, like especially red wine. I get super tired after a lot of that,
Gotcha.
or
Yeah.
just like really loose.
Yeah, that's me. Yep, pretty much. So I don't remember any of it, but apparently I didn't get belligerent. I wasn't mean or anything like that, but I was just trying to have fun. But like I was totally out of control and not like speaking English. People were like, you can't talk. You need to sit down. My mom kept like wrestling wine bottles out of my hand in front of family members.
Was it red or white?
Both. I mean, at that point, I was just like, whatever. I don't care. Cool. I got up. You know those hanging pots and pans that they have in kitchens?
Yeah.
So at one point I was standing next to it. My mom goes, okay, I think she's calmed down a little bit. And I go, Mom, watch this. And I went, bam! And I just like hit it as hard as I could. And she was like, holy shit. All right, Lindsay needs to go lie down. So
That's That's how you get yourself into rehab.
Yeah.
That's how it's like a forced
My family was like,
intervention.
well, all right.
Was Michael there too?
Yes, and he was like, Jesus Christ. Like,
my God.
he was trying to be nice and, like, take care of me, make
Did
sure I
he
was
know
okay.
about that plan before going into
A
it?
little bit, yeah. He was
Okay.
like, well, you have fun. He's like, no, too much fun. Back it up. Back it up. Too much.
The pans. It was one step too far.
The pans were bad, and then after that, we had a fire pit outside, and we were roasting marshmallows, and I had taken a small nap. I woke up and was like, okay, cool, like, rally, I'm good. No, it was not good. So I'm standing by the fire, I'm kind of rocking like this, and I rock too far, and I'm like, I'm going into the fire. So in my stupidity, in my drunkenness, I'm like, just tuck and roll, man. So luckily, I hit right next to the fire. I wasn't in it, but I started rolling on the ground next to it, and my aunt was like, oh, you.
That's a combo of duck and roll and stop, drop, and roll.
Exactly.
That's like perfect.
Woo! I'm
No,
safe.
your instincts were correct there.
So
but-
you didn't
yeah,
actually
fun.
fall in the fire, but you
I was
still
right next to it.
started rolling
Yeah,
just
so I was
in
just
case.
rolling on the ground, just
Oh
in
my
case. Yeah. So that was the worst hangover I'd had after I woke up from that. It was pretty
Yeah,
bad.
wine hangover is bad.
Yeah.
And wine puke is pretty bad.
Oh, God.
I've never
It's not
had
good.
You got the nasty red wine too, and especially when it goes in your
Ooh,
nose.
especially cheap red wine.
Gas station wine.
Well, it's already acidic, and then the combination of everything else.
Yeah.
Did you ever slap the bag or no?
Slap the bag.
Yeah,
bag
when you're
wine?
like going down the river and people are like slap the bag, and you're like, oh, thanks for the Franzia.
No, but Gus used to do. That was his move for. This is his story, but
no,
obviously
you
it's
don't-
my
you
story
tell.
because
He's not gonna be.
he was
Please
unconscious. He doesn't remember. It's my story. So we went tubing with him down, like, I think it was, where were we? Blanco, maybe. I'm not sure where. I think it was New Braunfels. Flown down the river. He brought, like, the bag of Franzia or whatever it was out of the box, and he fell asleep and drifted
Like in his tube.
and just landed in some, like, shrubs on the bank and was just passed out with this, like, bag. And so we had to, like, go, like, fish him out,
Come
wake
on,
him
buddy.
up. Yeah.
How do you drink out of a bag of wine? There's like
It
a
has
little
like
spout,
the,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a spout.
He didn't put like a
almost
big straw in it.
like a breast, a little bit.
Yeah, it's like that big,
to
hard
suckle it.
plastic nipple.
Do you also like lose 600 calories from drinking a
hope
bag
so.
of wine?
No, the bag loses the calories.
Okay.
That's the thing. No, you don't lose the calories from the drinking.
Yeah, I found
was
out
telling
right
that.
before the show that apparently you lose 600 calories by breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which I
What?
didn't know.
A day.
A day.
Oh my God.
Which I'm like, could I
burn that
breastfeed
many.
without a baby?
Something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
know, right? Like, how do I get these going?
I said you should be a wet nurse. Just milk it out.
Yeah.
The downside, though, is you're hungry all the time. And you also can't overdose on, you can't go crazy with the caffeine and stuff.
Okay.
And you're also tired. So for me, like, it does help. But then as soon as I quit breastfeeding, let's talk about my breasts. It's like the least
what we
sexy
do.
discussion about breasts ever. I quit breastfeeding, and then I suddenly could have like energy drinks again, and then I didn't have to eat in the morning like I always had to. So then I lost all the weight because I was walking around, and then I had my body back. That was like,
Yeah.
that was my favorite, quitting that, just because if you breastfeed, if you choose to do that, it's like a continuation of pregnancy. So I told you that your brain shrinks a little bit when you're pregnant, like it's 7% or something. I think because your body needs that fat other
Damn it,
places.
give it back.
So something like your brain mass goes down, and then if you breastfeed, it continues that. So you're still going to be spacey if you're breastfeeding. I've heard
I'm
that.
already so spacey. This isn't good.
So you got something suckling at your teeth and you're dumb.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know who Michael is.
The utmost respect for You should like pump some of your breast milk like and put some sort of fake boobage on
Dude,
Michael and have him breastfeed.
Okay,
I was
but-
talking about that, the Meet the Parents thing. I was like, you should wear one of those and breastfeed our kid, and then I can just chill and do my own thing. No problem.
You could make one almost like cows, like udder style, and you feed multiple
which one.
people at a time.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was gonna say, how long do you think
Ultra
after you
efficient.
have your baby that there'll be like an achievement hunter video of someone drinking your breast milk?
Michael talked about that. He's like, I want to taste it. I'm like, that's weird.
Who was? I
He,
think
he probably will anyway. Because when Jeff and I, when I was breastfeeding, if he did anything around my nipples, it would just be like, psh, psh, like at him. So he definitely got something
like
in the mouth.
projectile?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome!
Because it just like comes out, and actually, if you hear if you hear a baby cry or you start to think about a baby,
Just naturally.
it'll drop. And I have to tell you, it's painful. When your milk drops, it felt like dull knives working through. 'Cause it's
God.
like it's dropping through.
This is the
all
price
of
of
the
motherhood.
I did not enjoy breastfeeding. It was my least favorite part of all of it.
Damn. Did you use it as like a tactile weapon or anything? I assume. I feel like you would against Jeff. Like, hey,
Hold on, didn't
Talking
that actually
shit?
happen though?
It's
I think
not a
like,
weapon. It's sweet.
I
He didn't mind it.
I think it actually
collateral
happened, though.
drinking is fine.
Well, maybe I'm making this up, but I swear to God, I read like a news article about like either like a lawmaker or someone like in some foreign country squirted her breast milk at someone because they were in an argument.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Like I think I remember
That
that.
might have been an on-the-spot headline. that we did for that
Maybe.
show.
I know I read it somewhere.
Look it up. Put
when
in
you
the
were-
link.
It's like biowarfare though, because you don't know what that woman has.
It's true. Yeah.
When
Could be
you
anything.
just said that when you hear a baby or anything, I thought you were gonna say that your breast would just start leaking or something.
No,
or just, like,
you
start
have
spraying.
like this almost like pads. You can get pads put in your bra because otherwise you'll start to get little wet spots. I'm telling you.
Your breasts
so
are crying
cool.
for them, and here's
Yeah.
the baby's crying,
When
and it
you get
cries in
full.
response. Yeah.
Or just like it would start like a sprinkler that was just like,
It's not. It's more. It's yeah. I don't know.
or that one of these.
I need to look up that story about the breast milk thing. So I think you're right.
I think I don't know. Someone needs to look it up.
There
'cause
was
I
a
think-
story about that I recall.
I know.
I think it's great.
A somewhat similar
Power to
story, a little bit different, but kind of like, I guess, shock value. Similar, yeah. My friend is a teacher in Houston, and she said the weirdest thing that she's had happen is 2 girls got in a fight in the school cafeteria. In the middle of the fight, one girl reached inside of herself, pulled out her tampon, started beating the shit out of the other girl with it. I was like, Houston, woo!
That almost seems like
down.
it should be like a final move in Mortal Kombat. You know, like,
Finish it.
She's dual wielding now. It's like,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
dual wield. You gotta pack in 2.
right, nunchucks.
Absolutely.
Fucking.
Or have your friend there and grab.
Right, done.
That's like real.
Women are
violent.
usually in sync anyway. It works out perfectly.
It's true. I still remember being a kid when I didn't have my period yet and buying a tampon from the bathroom with my friend and like putting it in the sink and like like watching it like foam
Look at
up.
it go.
Like,
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, I'm glad it doesn't do that inside of us, like get that big. Could you imagine if it just like butterflied out inside
Oh, I mean,
and then
yeah.
whip it?
I don't know if you've had the discussion with Aaron where it's like, yo, let's learn a little bit more about tampons and how they work. Because I've absolutely had that with Michael where he's like, so let's talk
So
to
he
me a little bit more
initiates
about
it.
this.
He
Yeah.
initiates
He's like,
it.
what is
Aaron
this about? I'm
definitely
like,
has
no.
never initiated that. For all he knows, I don't have periods.
Like, let me
I also
educate
don't
you.
fart, I don't poop, or anything like
Does
that.
he have sisters or no? Or any
No, just a
siblings?
brother, just
Okay.
a brother.
See, so
Explains a lot.
you
Yeah.
keep that? Do you try to keep that all like private and away from the
I'm
relationship?
not
'Cause
used
that's
to
a,
doing
that's a quarter of the month that you're
Yeah.
not getting busy.
I usually,
Or
I
that
usually
you
am
are
just
and
like,
you're getting
And
real
you just
freaky.
roll with it.
Or just freaky.
for him it's just a week of blowjobs.
I don't run red lights.
yeah.
Because I don't
That
like,
seems totally unfair to you. I'm
I
sorry.
don't, I mean, I still get off
Okay,
with him.
sure.
I just don't, I don't like having sex on my period. It's a me thing.
That's a very sexy thing to say. I think that's super hot when a guy's like fine with it.
Yeah.
I think that's super hot when a guy's like, I don't care.
I mean, I think that's hot
Fucking
too,
hot.
but I personally am not cool with it. Like every boyfriend I've had, I've been like, I feel, because for me, like everyone's different on their period. I don't really get horny. I just get like bloated and I feel gross and I feel sad. And it's not really like, I'm not super.
But you could cheer up so easily. And it's
true.
a built-in
It's true.
lubricant. Built-in lubricant. There you go.
It's
That
true.
is true. Natural lubricant. I mentioned that to someone.
I do have
I was
white
having an
bitches,
argument
though.
online or something,
have
and they
what?
were like, "Ew,
White
period blood's
bitches.
gross." I'm like, "Hey, lubricant, you're good."
You have what?
White bed sheets.
White bed sheets.
What did you think I was saying?
White wedgies.
That too.
I also have white wedgies. I tend to wear white under. What's your hangover story?
Well,
Taking it back.
I have. It's like which to pick. I think the worst. I say the worst. I don't think it was. I think I had one that was equally bad more recently, but the story of how I got it was not as interesting, and I don't exactly remember how I got it, except for just being stupid and drunk. One of the worst hangovers I've ever had. It was my first 24-hour hangover.
Oh my god, that exists.
Oh my god. Well, and after you turn 30, something to look forward to. Hangovers get so much worse and so much faster. Like now, if I drink like white wine in the afternoon, like if I meet somebody for a happy hour, I will have a hangover before I go to sleep. I'll have a headache. So I just have to avoid sugary things in general, you know?
You do mimosas or no?
Yeah, because you're cutting the alcohol down.
Cool.
It's fine.
Just curious.
No, I like bubbles, so I'm fine. I just have to be more careful and I don't drink as much. The worst hangover I've ever had, it was a Rooster Teeth party. It was at Gus's house. One of the only parties that Gus and Esther ever hosted, as far as I know, unless they host them all the time and I'm not invited. But
definitely don't.
one of the only like major social events they ever threw, it was like maybe 6 or 7 years ago. It was a really crazy night. And we were drinking tequila. Gavin and I got Jeff was designated driver, which he's so fucking mad about. He was mad because he's like never the.
I was gonna say, I'm like,
And it was
can't
like
picture
the
that.
one night you don't want to be there because everyone was having like the best time ever, and he was so pissy.
Is
the
this
whole night.
before you guys lived close together? Because I know you.
Yeah, this is before he moved to our neighborhood.
Okay.
I don't know how long. It was a while ago.
Yeah, that must
Maybe
have been
8 years ago. I don't know. So Gavin was living with us. Bernie got so wasted that he wrote a long journal post and called himself the Fulcrum.
Nice.
Like said he just declared himself the center of the universe.
Nice.
And wrote this whole thing, which he deleted the next day. And at some point, I think Gavin was riding around on his back. And then Gavin and I, we barely made it home. Like, Jeff drove us, he's pissed off the whole time, like bitching about like how wasted we are. We ran in the door, because we only had one bathroom. Ran to the bathroom. I beat him there. And so he had to like swerve to run to the back door, and we simultaneously puked him off the back porch, me into the toilet. And then it was so bad. And the next day I had to have like all the lights out, and the entire day I was bedridden. It's not actually a very interesting story.
No,
I don't think hangover stories are super. It's been I was sick for a long time.
It's usually how you get them, which is
Yeah.
For you
That's
too.
like
I pictured Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off when he calls for the first time and he's laying in bed and he's got like the Dio Mortem music playing.
Oh, absolutely. No, it was bad. But 24 hours couldn't like move my body.
So you just like you're in bed and then you just went back to sleep essentially at night.
Super sick, nauseous sick the next day, horrible headache, light sensitivity, like all of the stereotypes.
Were you able
or
to
whatever.
eat anything?
No, I know that's like a cure. And actually my favorite cure for hangovers now is Mi Madre's bean and cheese tacos. You guys ever
Those
tried
are
those?
amazing.
They're like almost like chili. Like the beans in them are almost like a chili. And then if you, on a good day, sometimes they have an off day, on a good day, like the cheese is so melty and you hold them, but it's just like oozing out. So it's almost like a race into your mouth.
Go. Just shove it in.
No, it's
All you
like,
need.
yeah, it's just oozing and sliming. The best is when you're like trying to start a road trip and you're like trying to do that while you're driving.
You're hungover.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I couldn't eat anything. I think I couldn't eat for 24 hours. It was terrible. And he was just
Jesus.
sick too. And I didn't drink tequila ever again until recently with Gavin. And we both got like drunk
Tequila's
and sick
a
again.
bitch.
Do you guys have flashbacks
Not that
too?
bad. I think that we've learned a few things since then. I mean, I think we both realized that we hadn't had tequila since then.
Oh wow. Oh, my
So it
gosh,
took
yeah.
that many years, like 8 years or
Yeah,
something.
I had
to
a
drink
friend that
tequila
got
again.
like fucking wasted off of Smirnoff Ice when she
Oh,
was
that sounds
Smirnoff
like
Ice?
terrible.
My
and
God, how?
she like if she smelled it, she got
Oh, yeah.
sick. 'Cause
Damn.
She's just like I can't do that.
We
Anything
used
that
to make
smells similar to
Smirnoff Ice with Four Loko in college because we're insane. And that was how we would get drunk because they were $1 at the gas station.
that. It's illegal now, right?
yeah.
Four Loko?
Yes,
I don't
It's
know.
illegal.
I think so.
I,
Isn't
I
it?
have one in my fridge. I don't know how long it's been there, but it's
Oh
definitely
man, that's
legal.
technically valuable. You should put that on
Exactly,
eBay.
Yeah.
Sell it.
I guess it's
Been
been on
that
eBay.
long.
Probably not.
Like I think my friend got married in June, and like some friends who were staying with us, she was the one who brought it in. She was like, I hid it in your fridge so you could find it later as a surprise. I was like, I'm not gonna
What?
fucking drink that. Like that's not a good surprise.
I also never understood the concept of hair of the dog. Does that
Oh,
work
it totally
for you?
works.
It does.
Really?
A
Yes.
beer is like the best hair of the dog, I think. Or I guess the Bloody Marys are considered a good
Bloody
hair of the
Marys are
dog.
good. Yeah. For me, it's always Whataburger and a beer.
Whatever.
It's
Beer.
top.
Yeah.
I feel like the more experience I get with drinking, the more I appreciate beer.
Really.
And it's kind of like
Beer's great.
smoking a pipe versus smoking a bong or doing edibles. Just like, not that I would know, but I hear.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
It's like the nice, slow, steady climb when you know where you're at.
Yeah.
But the downside is that if you have a tolerance, that I get too full, depending on the beer, to like want to drink enough to like, if the goal is to get drunk, you know?
Yeah.
But I like that it's this warm, happy, and I feel like my social interactions with beer are better than any other alcohol.
I can agree with that. I always feel bad about the calories later. I'm like,
Oh, absolutely. No, that's the
Drink so
downside, the
much.
calories.
There's a college town in Canada in a place called Queens that there's a restaurant where they serve the hangover breakfast, which is like very greasy bacon, eggs, and a giant beer. And it's basically like when you're hungover, you go there and you get that. There's because of greasy food and hair of the dog.
Yeah.
But I was never able to do it.
Hair of the dog, it's just like medicating again.
Yeah.
You know?
You're just kind of starting the cycle all over.
Right.
Very true.
It's the alcoholic's trick. Also, you start with hair of the dog and then you find yourself just drinking. Like,
Yeah, you're like,
it's
"Hey, I'm drunk again."
It's
What?
supposed to be one drink and then you're solid.
Yeah.
If we could just stop there.
Well, when I'm hungover, I like to sit in bed and watch TV. For example, anime on,
Oh, yeah.
on Crunchyroll. Thanks to Crunchyroll for sponsoring this episode of Always Open. Crunchyroll was built by fans of anime who love different anime series for all different reasons. They offer the largest, most diverse collection of anime series straight from the source. Their current lineup includes Mob Psycho 100, Cowboy Bebop, and Sweetness and Lightning. I see you nodding your head at those.
Bebop. Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop. On Crunchyroll, the newest episodes are available as soon as 1 hour after they air in Japan via simulcast. All episodes are ad-free, and you can enjoy them across all devices, including Xbox, PlayStation, Wii U, etc. Right now, you could try our Crunchyroll Premium for 30 days free with crunchyroll.com/alwaysopen. That's crunchyroll.com/alwaysopen for 30 days free of Crunchyroll Premium. Thank you, Crunchyroll.
Shazam.
You da bomb.
Boom.
You can watch that Ruby on there too, if you
You
want.
could. I remember
you
when
do.
Ruby premiered like at #1 on that one time.
It was right next to like Hunter x Hunter shows like that, and like Naruto. I was like, that's absurd.
I know. It's nuts. Well, thank you, Crunchyroll.
It's awesome.
So let's move on to Ask Us Anything. This question comes from a Twitter user. Let me try to pronounce this right. Malsisoboard.
Malls is so bored.
Malsisoboard. Malls.
Wouldn't you think it's like someone named Molly who like gave herself a
so bored.
nickname?
Malls.
And she's so bored.
so bored. We'll discover.
I wonder if any Molly in history has ever gone by Mall.
Mall.
Malls.
M-O-L-O.
What's up, Amal?
Kind of cute. I like it.
I call Millie Mill, so.
Well, that's a perfect segue into her question, which
Nice.
was, would you ever change your name?
I had some trouble with like just because my name's a little different. And Mariel. Yeah, it's technically Mariel. Yeah. And growing up, it was always like a weird name. You know, like no one ever pronounces it right the first time or the second time.
How did they usually pronounce it?
Mariel is.
I'm sorry for all the hicks that were like Mariel.
Muriel.
Yeah.
My favorite person that says it here is Blaine. He's always like, Marielle. Every time he says my name, every time Blaine says my name,
Classy.
he's always very like, like, let me start off.
My parents say it
Getting ready.
Marielle.
And
Every time I talk to them, I'm like, no.
no, I don't like, I mean, I don't care. You know, it's like something now that's like, I like just, I like people keep saying my name, you know, so whatever they want to call me, as long as it's my name. But I do remember growing up and just being like, oh man, like, and I also don't have a middle name, but everyone else in my family does, and a lot of people in my family go by their middle name.
Why wouldn't they give you a middle name if
I
they
don't
don't
know.
have
I
one?
don't know. It's always been like they were just like, I don't
That's
know, we just-
discriminatory.
I know, right? They just didn't care enough, I guess.
Yeah, but you don't use your, you guys don't use your middle names.
No,
for anything.
never.
No,
Yeah.
just
Unless some form asks me for my full name.
Yeah, that's just more to write. You should be happy.
that, or your
no,
parents
I-
are scolding you, and then they decided.
That's true.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
so they were never allowed to be mad at you.
No, they never.
True.
They never
Nice.
had a name.
What would be a good name, middle name for
Because
Mariel?
that's always been the thing too. It's like, what would your middle name be?
Selena.
How about Mariel Mariel?
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Mariel Mariel.
I like it.
Just change the to have the same spelling but have a different pronunciation, just to piss people off.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it was always like, and then in 8th grade, there was actually another Mariel that came into, and I was just like, well, you have to die now because I've been the
There could be only one.
I've been the only one for
Highlander
so long.
scenario.
Like, you don't get to live. Unfortunately, I didn't succeed in killing her. She's still around. But one day.
Was she cool?
Yeah,
At least?
we were friends. We were friends. And then,
Because you keep your enemies close.
I was
right,
gonna say,
exactly.
friends with motives. We're friends for now. Until you turn around.
But yeah, it was always a thing growing up that I was like, oh, like I have a weird name. Like, what if I was named something else? I don't know. It was like my boobs. Like I didn't feel comfortable about them, and then I grew into them, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I
I
like
feel
this
that.
now.
Yeah.
I was kind of similar. I hated my name growing up because I'm fucking Barbara. There's no
old
person right now, even under the age of 50, named Barbara.
Did you ever go by Barbie?
I was gonna say, I'm sure a lot of people.
My parents used to
Barbie
call
out.
me Barbie. My boyfriend at the time called me Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
And I liked it because it, the association that you have with Barbie is like, oh, this tall, blonde,
Yeah.
like, beautiful
You
girl.
can do anything. Anything
Exactly.
you want.
You could be a doctor if you wanted to.
Barbie.
But my middle name is Julie, which, when you're younger, is a much more suitable name.
Yeah.
When I was younger,
BJ.
I was trying to get around Barbara as much as I could, so I'm like, people would just call me BJ.
Sweet.
Obviously not realizing it stood for blowjob.
Hey.
BJ
But you love giving them so much, it turns you so on. Right?
Yes. It's wonderful.
Is that a problem?
No, I think it's great.
That's why I loved having the maiden name of Tuggy. No joke
Tuggy's
there. None whatsoever.
We would have been great friends. BJ Tuggy.
BJ and Tuggy over there.
BJ Tuggy is such a great name. If you guys ever have a baby together, that's what you need to name
Call
it.
them for a good time.
BJ Tuggy.
No.
That is a great last name.
BJ
I like
It's not a
Lindsay,
good
but-
porn name,
yeah.
actually.
Oh yeah, that's true.
the
If this
origin
all
of
fucks
Tuggy?
up.
Yeah, where does Tuggy
it used to be French. It was Touge, and then of course like idiot Americans were like, no, we gotta Americanize. So get that French shit out of here.
What does Touge mean?
I don't know. Touge.
Probably Tug.
Yeah, probably. That's it.
What is tug? I'm trying to remember. Pull is tire, I think.
know.
Touche.
Yeah.
If I knew more French, I would be able to figure it out.
I know cat. That's it. That's all I know.
Le penis.
La bite. That's dick. La bite.
Oh.
It's feminine. La. It's feminine.
Ah.
Ooh.
What's
noted.
vagina in French?
Oh, God. It's been a really long time.
Like,
Like, it'd be look, but just to balance it out.
Le
Le cunt.
I like that.
man,
That
I
sounds
don't
like a
remember.
fragrance or something.
It does.
The touch, the feel.
Beautiful mist.
Sometimes they are.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's true.
I don't remember because I was never told to suck on somebody's vagina.
True.
It was.
Well,
I
you-
was.
you
I
and I have
knew
very
that word
different
early
childhoods.
because I was. Some boys hassled me when I was visiting.
Do you want us to
Gotcha.
find them?
What does that mean? Yep.
Yeah, we can.
Take them out.
They were. We could
Tugging
because
BJ's on it.
they were
BJ
very.
tugs.
They were petite French men.
They probably had tiny, whatever the
I would have
word
been.
for dick is.
I might have done something about it because I had to go home and translate. They're like, "What are they saying?"
You close the dictionary like, those
Hold on,
bastards.
I'll be
There were some guys at my summer camp who used to say, suck my ass. And
Oh.
I'm like, how do you...
Said that like,
Did you do it?
I tell people to suck my dick a lot.
Yeah.
And they're like, you are a female. You don't have that. I'm like, I'm aware.
I think
the implication is there.
Yeah.
Suck my clit is tougher though,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do say that every now and then too.
Also, like,
Suck
that
my-
and
would
if
feel,
they do it, it's fine.
feel pretty good.
and it's all good.
Yeah, I don't mind. Go ahead.
It's actually, I'm actually asking you to do it, please.
please.
Yes, thank you.
That was a request.
So did you ever want to change from Lindsay, or did you always like it?
Yeah, like I said, I tried Elise, and that didn't go over my family. They're like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're Lindsay. And I was like, okay, I'll be Lindsay over here. But that's fine. I like Lindsay. It's cool.
I like Lindsay too. I like Elise, so I think it's a pretty name.
Thank you. Lindsay Elise was terrifying for my mom, though. My dad is a yeller, and we're both very, very stubborn people, so we'd butt heads a lot. But if my mom's pissed off at you, you're fucked. Like, you're going to die tonight.
Does she get like cold? Like it gets real serious.
Yeah, she gets like serial killer shake, and she's like, you have disrespected this house. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll be upstairs.
What does she do now that you have a different last name?
Oh,
Like, if she's angry at you, does she still call you Lindsay
no,
at least
I
Tuggy?
don't even know if she gets like that angry anymore now.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, Lindsay. I'm like, whatever.
Whatever, mom.
Mrs. Jones.
I'm almost 30.
Suck my dick, mom.
It was weird writing it
Suck
for the
my
first couple
ass.
times. And actually, I think at New York Comic Con I was signing and someone was like, put your last name too. And I almost wrote Tuggy. I was like, nope, Jones.
I have called you Lindsay Tuggy accidentally like 3 times since you've been married.
You're still in my phone as Lindsay Tuggy.
Me too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I,
great. Don't change it.
I
Don't
think
do
there
it.
was a
Just in case.
show.
Yeah.
You have to go back.
Sure. I think there was a show we were on recently, or some thing we did together where I introduced you as Lindsay Tuggy, and I'm like,
Whoops.
no, it hasn't been that way for like a year and a half. Never mind.
I've
Miles
only
used-
known you as Lindsay Jones.
That's true. Nice. You don't even know this whole side of me. All these mysteries.
Pretty much. I think, yeah, I started as an intern like just a few months before you guys got married. So,
So technically, you did know her as Lindsay Tuggy.
yeah, but
Get out of here.
They
You're
didn't
lying.
know me.
didn't
Now we
know
know
her.
each other.
we know each other.
Yes. Miles used to call me Tug Life all the time, and now he has a really hard time not doing that.
Jones, like.
To
J-Dog.
Jones.
Yeah.
I've always been very jealous of your name.
My name? Well,
My
I,
last name.
it's bought and paid for. I did
gonna
change
say.
my name.
First
You have a
name?
very interesting name
Yeah.
change.
I changed my name
experience.
back in when I was 20.
Oh.
And because I had a very, very common girl's name, and I mean there were multiple reasons, but I think that it's a way to create your own identity, and that was something I was interested in at the time. And I liked that it was gender neutral because at the time I was considering becoming a man, and I had friends that were telling me all about testosterone
Yeah.
and everything. And I didn't end up choosing that, but I like having a gender ambiguous name.
Yeah.
It's actually gotten me some job interviews that I never would have gotten.
Nice.
I didn't get the job because they don't know if to hire women, but at least I showed up and made them squirm and pretend like they didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Like,
I've ever
discriminate.
yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen or met a male griffin though.
Oh, male griffins are more common. I met one female griffin once, but I got the impression that she created herself too. But no, I changed it years ago, and I was kind of a dick about it with my friends, family, and everything because I really had to insist that they call me that.
Yeah.
And now if I go back to my hometown and see my family, some of them still call me by my old name, but I've lightened up now because most people in my life don't even know that and have never known the old name. And
I've known you for 10 years or something.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Always
until-
heard it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought you were born Griffin.
it's funny because if I dream my name is Griffin, like I don't ever think about it. It's weird too because I went to Germany a couple weeks ago for a funeral and saw some people I haven't seen since like the year before I changed my name. And so they started calling me by my old name. And it was really shocking to me because when it's my family at home, it's fine. Like it feels normal that they would call me that. But other people in my life, especially people I don't know super well, it was totally bizarre.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I definitely, for those of you out there, it's really not a complicated process if you are interested in changing your name, and you can change the whole thing. And it depends on county by county how long it takes and how much money it is. Because Jeff changed his name several years ago. His stepdad asked him to take on his last name because he didn't have any children of his own. And Jeff's last name at that time was just another stepdad's last name that had left, so he wasn't attached to it.
Was it Fink at that time?
It used to be Fink. And
He's still
so,
credited as that in earlier Red versus Blue.
yeah,
DVDs
when I
and
met him,
stuff.
his name was Fink. And so when we were getting married, at that point, I only had my last name at that time, O'Connell, and it was a family name that I found. It was like the most matriarchal, without it putting any effort into it, like researching it, that I knew about. It was very like a feminist move, I suppose. So it is a family name, O'Connell.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like super attached to it because I hadn't had it for a very long time. And he was changing his last name too, so I didn't feel like I was taking my husband's name. It was like we were taking a new name together.
That's really
So
cool.
we became Ramsey together. And so I had him change it before we got married because then it would be free for me. But if he waited till after we were married, then I would have to pay to change my name too. I think we figured that out.
Oh,
Gotcha.
really?
So in Texas, it took like no time. You had to go in front of the judge
Yeah.
and explain that you weren't like trying to flee from anybody or whatever. And like if you thought it would improve your life, and you had to justify it to a judge, and then it was almost immediate. And I don't remember how much. I think it cost more money in Texas, and it was faster. And in Oregon, where I grew up, I had to have it. It was a 2-week process, and we had to put it in the courthouse in the basement because people, like any kind of like announcement or change or anything like that, that you could be running from money, like creditors or whatever. You have to like put as an announcement on a board, but it's in this dark basement in the courthouse. So if you're ever like if you're ever worried that somebody might be trying to screw you over or get away from you, always go to the courthouse basement and just check the notices. So they put it up for like 2 weeks to make sure no one had any objections. And then I got it, but it was only like $80 or something at the time.
it?
It's really
Wow.
super
Just
cheap.
change your whole
yeah,
name.
and I
Nice.
changed the beginning, the first, middle, and last name.
That's really sweet too.
All
That
at
you
the
and
same
Jeff
time.
took the plunge together. Oh no, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
we're Ramses together. I actually do like the name Ramsey. I think it's fairly strong.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very
Griffin
strong
Ramsey,
but beautiful.
Jeff Ramsey.
Yeah,
It's also, it's very powerful and very like,
and if we ever get divorced, I'm taking the
Iconic.
name.
Should.
I'm just taking
You
it.
should.
You're gonna go
Mine.
back to
Just-
something
he
else.
doesn't get to keep it though, right?
Oh no,
that's
no, no!
yours. Yeah,
I'm taking
absolutely.
that.
well, I guess
You
it's
can
like,
have like the dog or something. I don't know.
I don't know if
You
it's
get
like
Arrow.
because I've known you only since you were Griffin Ramsey, but like that is your name to me. Like
Well-
I can't imagine you as anything else.
Right? Yeah.
is-
I mean,
Strange.
I liked Griffin O'Connell. I thought it was a nice name too. But I mean, I wasn't like super attached.
Did you ever go by any like acting names or pseudonyms for
Share.
your artwork or anything?
I went as Beyonce for a while.
Well, the nice thing about
I'm
self-creating a name, self-creating yourself and picking a name that you think is dramatic and interesting, then that is like your stage name. I mean, a lot of people who take a stage name, they pick something that they have to live up to. I think. You
yeah.
know?
When I did acting or was trying to first get into it, my agent was like, "You got to pick a different name. Tuggy sucks." I'm like, "I know, thank you," but he was like, "Go with something quick, hard hitting, really gets the message out." It's like, okay. I have a lot of Celtic background. I could maybe find something on what are some Viking names? That sounds cool. So I found Kavlin. So for a while, and if you go look up some stuff online, you'll find Lindsay Kavlin. That's neat.
cool.
That's a really cool last name.
Yeah.
I considered for a while. I have a cousin who does acting professionally. Her last name is also Dunkelman. She considered changing it to Kelman for a while
Yeah.
because that's just dropping the dun, I guess, and
Dunking
keeping
the dunk.
Kelman.
Yeah.
Because Dunkelman sounds very like Dunkelman.
I like it.
But Kelman is very like quick and it sounds prettier, I guess.
Yeah.
But she never did it. She was just like, fuck it. I'm just
I feel like you either have a really straightforward last name in the film industry or in the entertainment industry, or super, super wacky, like Zach Galifianakis. It's like, okay, done.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Well, so Michael Keaton, that's not his name. It was Michael Douglas, and because there was a Michael Douglas already,
Really? I didn't
he
know
had to
that.
change it. And I think he took Keaton from Diane Keaton, if I'm remembering what I read. I think that's true. And if it's not, leave it in the comments.
a lot of celebrities actually whose last names aren't their last
They
names.
change their names. Yeah, I have a friend who he's trying to get into acting too, and his last name is Adolf, and so he's like, I gotta figure that out. Probably
Gonna be typecast forever.
Yeah. And I have another friend in college. We always knew him by Angel, like Angel, and then like one day like we met his roommate, and he was like, oh yeah, Jay, and we were like, oh, who the fuck is Jay? And he was like, oh, like Jay, like he's right over there. We're like, that's Angel, and he was
Yeah.
like, no guys, I go by Jay now. We're like, no you don't.
You're
He's
Angel.
like, oh, that's like, but, and then all of my friends had known him since they were like, grow up. They're like, we know your family, we know.
Well,
everyone."
you guys should get over it. That's rude.
Oh yeah, no, we did. but it was still just like he only went by like with that group of friends. It wasn't like, hey, this is my new name. It was just like, oh yeah, these guys call me Jay.
These guys call
Everyone
me-
else calls me Angel, and so we're like, who are you?
I've had a few of those.
Yeah.
I'm pretty easygoing too, so I usually don't give a shit. I've had that like really quick, awkward conversation where they're like, "Hey, with these friends, I do this, this, and this, so
Yeah.
just play along." I'm like, "All right, cool."
With this group of friends, I am pansexual.
Exactly.
With,
Yes.
and this
I'm-
group of friends, I'm
Group of friends, I'm badass bitch.
That was my high school experience.
Badass
I was
babs.
like, I'm straight with you guys.
with
You
with
guys are
them,
okay
I was on the
friends.
third season of America's Next Top Model. Okay, go.
Well, I don't tell people my old name for this reason. I had a job with, my friend's mom and dad owned a bookstore in Oregon, actually a whole bunch of bookstores, the Bookman. So those of you in Oregon know this. So I worked in receiving, in the warehouse. And I was talking to her mom, and she was like, you look familiar, but I don't remember your name being Griffin. I'm like, oh, well, I changed it recently. It used to be this. And then she was like, oh, yeah, I like that better. And she just called me by that old name. And I had to have a conversation with her. I'm
No.
like, that's not my name, and you can't call me that.
Just
But
because
since then,
she
I
liked it
like-
better.
I think if you tell people that, it's like it undermines the thing you're trying to create, and you don't want to give them the option,
Right.
Because it's your identity, and they can't decide what your identity is.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel like it's obviously a very different meaning, but that's kind of similar to people who are like, "Oh, I liked your hair better this way." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Well, fuck you, it's my hair." So
That happened when I dyed my hair brown for a while, and everyone's like, I like you better blonde. I'm like, I don't give
Okay.
a fuck.
Yeah.
I like you better silent.
Yeah.
So
You better not talk to me.
And I'm like,
But I'm not gonna start listening to people's opinions now.
Right.
Why would I? Like,
absolutely.
I
not.
liked your name better before, Griffin. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm envious of. It's awesome that you dye Millie's hair and let her do whatever she would like with her hair.
Dude,
'cause I
Millie's the
had-
greatest kid.
Yeah.
I've
I'm so
only
jealous.
met Millie once, and it was at the Pride Parade this past August.
Oh, yeah, she had fun there.
And her and Jeff rode up on bikes, and I was with Bethany, and we were, kind of drunk, whatever, having such a great time. And Millie's like right at the front, having such a good time. And it was just, Jeff was like, "Oh, it's getting late, we should go." And like in my mind, as like, what is she, 10 years old?
She's 11 now, but at the time I think she might have been.
Yeah,
10.
it was in August. In my mind, as a 10-year-old, like in my head as a 10-year-old, I would have been like, "This is so much fun. Like, why do you want to go home?" And she was just like, "All right, Dad, yeah, let's go." I was just like,
Because she's like, I can go home and play Xbox.
Yeah.
Why am
It
I
was just like-
outside? This
Well,
is lame.
she just seems like she's up for anything.
she's just
She's
like
like a really
mature
cool
Yeah,
kid.
all right.
Like she's
Sure. Okay.
From the
You should hang out
outside.
at our house more.
she's in
She's so
public.
easigoing.
But it was just like a very mature, like, "All right, yeah, you're right. It's getting late. Let's go." home."
So she realized it was time to go home.
Yeah, she like I know if I had been in that situation, I'd be like, "No, but like we're having fun. Like there's naked people. Like why go home now?"
Do you think she used her watch to see that it was time to
Maybe
go
she
home?
might have.
Was it maybe a
Picked up her
movement watch?
movement.
Could have been.
That was smooth.
This episode of Always Open is brought to you by Movement Watches. I absolutely love the watch they sent me. This is actually a new one that I wore from last week. This
She was
is a
supporting the gay pride movement as
movement.
well.
Oh,
Like, same.
tie-in. It's sleek and stylish, and I always get tons of compliments when I wear it out. It's true. Movement was started by two broke college kids that wanted to wear stylish watches, but couldn't afford them, so they started their own watch company. The watches start at just $95. At department stores, you're looking at $400 to $500 per watch. Movement figured out that by selling online, they were able to cut out the middleman and retail markup, providing the best possible price. Get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to movementwatches.com/open. That's movementwatches.com/open. Join the movement. Quite the slogan.
Join it.
Join it. You have a movement watch too, right?
I do. My nice black one.
You guys are so well coordinated with your outfits.
I know,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah, we
yes.
really did. I don't know. I was feeling very Johnny Cash today.
I can see that.
That's how I see you all the time.
You need a
Yeah,
guitar.
I wear black all the time.
Can you sing something?
I can't sing now.
You're always
It
going to a
would-
funeral.
It would, just hurt your ears so bad.
Can you sing Hurt? Yeah.
Beautiful.
See, you don't have to agree. The worse the voice, the better it sounds.
It's so beautiful. All right,
You
well,
can
let's
use that same mentality with Bob Dylan impressions. God bless him.
Well, let's
so
finish
much.
up.
And I've been listening obsessively that Don't Think Twice song.
Oh,
It's just like on repeat lately.
So we're gonna wrap things up with a sexpertise question, and this one comes from Emily A. And she writes, "Me and my boyfriend have been together for 5 years and are ready to take the next steps. I was his first girlfriend and he lost his virginity to me. I have been in many relationships and been with many other people, men and women, before him. I'm afraid that if we do take the next step in our relationship that he might always feel like he never got to experience anyone else other than me, and this might lead to something challenging in the future. Am I wrong for having this insecurity in the back of my mind when we have a seemingly perfect relationship?" I see where she's coming from.
Yeah, I totally think it will maybe be a problem. It depends on his personality so much. But I think
Sure.
that it would probably be worth it to do some. But I have a lot of opinions about this.
Yeah.
I also don't think monogamy is realistic in general, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of opinions.
I don't know how old she is, but
5 years. I'm assuming they. And she said next step, so I'm assuming they're not like teenagers.
they're probably in their early 20s,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Is next
This is
step
a middle
marriage? Is that what's
schooler.
happening here? Or?
Probably maybe moving together or marriage, but I guess it just become more serious in a way.
I can understand the concern. I think that's only natural to be like, oh, all right, well,
You want things balanced? Plus,
worried.
if you're going to end up hypothetically together forever is a long time.
But there are some people who are okay with that. Like,
Yeah.
depending on his personality, like, he could be one woman type of man, where he's just like, I found my person, I'm happy, I don't need anything else. But
Well, if she's totally honest about her background, then it's not a surprise.
Yes, yeah, that's, I think, again, and that's for any relationships, communication is key. You gotta, if you're hiding some of that stuff and you're feeling uncomfortable about it, you should probably talk about it. It seems like that's probably something that you want to talk about, but you've, have this weird guilt factor. Maybe you could just be like, yo, gotta be honest with you, here's what I've done.
Yeah.
And if you have a problem with that, then get the fuck out.
as someone who was I was in a 6-year relationship, my first ever relationship, and it was while I was in the last years of high school and all throughout college, and part of me really regrets that because I feel like I missed out on a lot of college experiences because I was in
Like a lot of orgies and
orgies or just like,
The BJs.
doing coke and sucking dicks
You can still
randomly. Yeah,
nothing's stopping
There's
you,
time.
Barbara.
shit like that. But I could see where she's coming from with that concern because I was in the opposite position of like, I do regret not being single at this time.
Yeah.
Or even just experiencing that.
Well, she's into girls too, though, so there's a lot of like threesomes and other adventures they could have together, and
Sure.
then it's not as scary on the relationship as far as just letting him go to do his own thing.
Yeah.
So if she wanted to, she could help introduce some situations that would give him some more experiences.
But just communication, be like, yo, here's what I did also. Or would you like to do anything else? Is there more stuff that you feel like you missed out on or haven't experienced yet?
That's
Are you
right.
curious about anything?
Yeah.
It's probably the best bet because if let's say she's like, let's take a few months or a year apart or however long and you go experience these things. There could be that concern of like, what if he finds someone that he likes better, or what if he realizes that like this wasn't as good as it could be? Which
Yeah.
I understand from her perspective, being worried about that kind of thing. Or
I
being
think
insecure.
I think the fear or it's not irrational. I mean, I've definitely felt that way. Like especially a lot of women that I've dated, I was like the first girl that they dated. So for me, in the back of my mind, it was always like, oh, it wasn't ever like, oh, like you're gonna go back to dating men, but it was like, oh, maybe you want to date more women, or maybe you want to like, it doesn't stop with me. Like maybe you are curious, and that's
like you were
definitely,
just like the thing to break the ice type.
yeah, or like there's so much out there, so like it was like I have dated people like that where I was like, like maybe you aren't as experienced, like maybe you do want that. So, but then like for me with that relationship, it was just like I'm not happy. I'm just trying to look for excuses.
Yeah.
Well, I think that maybe this is a pansexual person speaking, but I don't think the gender matters that much. And I mean, the whole fear specifically about that, like,
Right.
do you want to be with more women or more men or whatever? Like, I think attraction starts at the person and the personality. Of course, that might be a female perspective too, but I think it's just who you identify with and connect with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
So, I don't know. It's tricky because you don't want to necessarily disrupt something that's working. Maybe you don't have to disrupt it now, but maybe being able to keep that communication open and knowing that there might be other possibilities in the future. But it does require a lot of maturity.
I mean, it
communication.
seems like she is very understanding of the situation and very, like, aware of what's going on. Like, yeah, she's been with other people, but he hasn't, and it's, it could be a problem down the line. And I think the suggestion you had of like trying threesomes or getting other people involved to see.
You guys could explore stuff together.
Yeah,
Or not even have threesomes.
adventures, be on the same
Just being able to
teams.
talk about stuff like that.
There are a lot of people in the world, a lot of experiences you could have.
But the problem with threesomes are definitely fun and adventurous, and it's something a couple can do together and spices things up. I mean, jealousy issues and stuff like that definitely come into play, even people who are experienced at it.
Yeah.
But it's not really the best sex in the world, usually.
No.
What is
Unless you can find here.
my
So
notepad.
the trick with a threesome, it's like any other first-time experience with anyone. One night stands or first hookups usually aren't the best example of sex with that person. So if you can find somebody you can have a threesome with multiple times. Sorry, this is getting more in depth than she was probably wanting.
I like it.
No, I mean, I think she's willing to hear everything.
Yeah.
Anything and everything.
Be
Yeah.
sure you also communicate with each other for who the third person is going to be in your threesome, because I've run into other instances, not myself, but friends who have engaged in threesomes or wanted to, and someone decides for their partner, like, oh, I'm going to go find someone for us to have a threesome with. I'm like, no. You got to make sure they're comfortable with it. None of that. Yeah,
definitely.
How do you go about that?
Some resumes, maybe.
Like, do you like what do you guys think is a good way? Like going out to a bar.
For them, it was a bar.
Or
and a
like
club.
knowing someone that you guys both mutually know. I feel like if it's someone you know very well, it becomes a little awkward. Like I feel like I would never want to have a threesome with a friend of mine.
No, I don't want none of that.
Well,
That'd be
okay,
like,
well, I
keep
was
my
gonna ask
friendships
after the
separate.
show.
She's just giving you the hints now. Like
None of
donuts.
that.
like again, Mariel.
I know it was
The first time was a little weird.
I don't know if going to a bar is like. I mean, I guess it could happen, but usually then it's like end of the night, everyone's so drunk that it's not the best experience. I think it's better if you have like a house party and the people that are interested stick around longer than everyone else and you're already home.
That's true.
It's true.
Convenient. There you go.
A lot of people Tinder. When I was on Tinder, it was a lot of like, hey, me and my boyfriend. And for me, it was like, no! Like, that's not what I want.
What about you and your girlfriend?
There was some people, I'm sure that might have been like, because I know, I mean, when I was on Tinder a few years ago, it was more like, it was newer, so it was still like,
There should be a threesome app.
So I feel like there should be. So they're not like for Grindr, it's like gay dudes and everything, right? But what about for lesbians? Is there one that's specifically for lesbians?
So there's this new app that I haven't heard about because I've been off the market.
It's called
for so long.
Scissor with like a
SCR. Well, I know there's an. So this is the funny thing between, I think, like the difference between men and, well, one of the differences. Oh God!
Is that part of the podcast?
Pregnancy. Sorry,
you're
I'm
clumsy now.
wasted.
So you know,
gone
Grindr
forever.
was created, and
Talk
a
about
lot of
these
people
threesomes.
use Grindr to like hook up with each other, right? Like that's like
Right.
You hear about Grindr, you're like, oh, it's just dudes plowing, you know, bumping donuts.
Yes.
And so
of
there's
daddies.
this app that I've heard about, and it's called Her, and it's more of a social app. And I was like, okay, that's kind of shows like a kind of a difference between men and women. It's like, here's this gay men app, and it's like exclusively known for hookups, whereas like here's this lesbian app that's like, maybe we get coffee with like a bunch of us and like read a book.
like no, just like sex.
Yeah, no, it's more of like, here's these events that are going
That's
on
annoying.
in your area. I know,
mean
right?
the foreplay.
I mean,
Lead up to it.
I've never been on it, so I don't really actually know what it is.
That
These
sounds
are-
like kind of. It sounds time consuming, like too many
Yeah.
conversations.
Like,
Like,
you
you
have
have to be
to
a
know.
grinder
What
for
if you
women.
just want
Yeah,
sex?
I know, but I mean, when I was on Tinder, it was
Grind
very
her.
much just like
There you go. Nice. Nice.
when I was on, maybe we should create one.
Oh shit! Let's not talk about this anymore.
Try cut all of this from the podcast.
Yeah, cut it off. When I was on Tinder, though, it was like you could open it. It was like, okay, you're looking for men or women, and you could put your preferences, but it wasn't like, okay, these are the only women that are looking for women. It was just like, here are all the women in your area, and you just like hope it works out. But
Well, you got to cast a wide net.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, good luck, Emily A.
yeah.
Let us know
Keep
how
us
it goes.
updated.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know about the experiences
Yeah.
in
tell us.
great detail, please.
And how you
thinking
did
about
that
the house
and,
party
like,
idea now.
Yeah.
Step by
Yeah.
step.
See, everyone I
Oh,
knew.
can I tell you? Okay, so I
Okay.
was just listening to a book recently. This is another. Let's talk about sex moment, but and it was talking about group sex parties and orgies, but like done super classy, and like they rent out like a hotel, and then there's like talking, oh, here's the elements of what you need, and all the and I'm like, that'd be a fucking fun party to throw. Except I don't know enough people, and everyone I know is like married and boring.
It's like 3 people are there.
I have to
hanging
meet
out.
some people before, but I think as far as like not saying like I'm trying to get everyone to sleep, but it would be a fun thing. I've never thrown that kind of party. I've planned that kind of event. It's a totally different way to think about it, because it's like everyone goes to a party or a bar hoping to either, if they are single, get into some business, or like at least witness other people have, like they want to. You go to a party because you hope something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like something
There's
crazy.
always something. Yeah.
Something has to happen.
The stories.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to plan a party where it was definitely things were going to happen?
Like
I'd like
guarantee.
I want a precursor of like Mario Party. Like, okay, after 50 rounds, we're gonna go have this orgy. Let's make
Does
sure
like the
we're all
winner
ready.
get something? Like they
There
get to
needs
be
to
at
be
the
some
back.
Don't wear out
kind
your
of-
thumbs. You're gonna need those.
Yeah, I'd be too tired. No, it's not, you really use your thumbs for anything. Though, like, really. It's like the one time you don't really
The
need
butthole.
thumbs.
Just like hold them like a bowling ball.
Little Jack Horner.
Yeah, okay. That's true. I guess you could still
Thumb
use
and
your
some
thumbs.
plums.
I feel like we need to learn more about those.
Yeah, for all the friends that I had who got engaged in threesomes, they just went to 4th or 5th Street a lot of the gay clubs, and then they went to a hotel because they wanted to keep their business out of their private lives or out of their home. And I was like, I guess that makes sense.
You don't want to invite the orgy to your house.
No, yeah, they're
It's way too much cleanup.
Yeah, never.
Let the maid take care of it.
I need to have more friends that have orgies. I feel like
See,
I'm
okay,
very
so you're on the
vanilla.
list. All right,
Okay,
I know one
yeah.
person that's going to the orgy.
I'll be there.
I'll bring cookies. Could that be like some useful thing?
Yeah, you gotta have snacks, but I don't think you want too heavy snacks. You can have garlic and onions.
Do you have an
hummus,
orgy
maybe?
bouncer? Also, I feel like you should.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to. And if
Are
and
you Marielle?
you have to have, I
He
think
does your
Sarah-
STD check at the door.
it's suggested if you invite men that they have to bring a date.
Oh,
Okay.
Like, but I don't know. And I also hear that pansexual orgies are the best
I bet.
I
bet.
bet they are.
because people are going to be automatically less judgy and open to seeing some crazy new things.
Yeah.
Well, I'd
love to see.
If
some
anyone
things.
out
I don't
there,
know. I feel like I'm so like not even being a part of it, but just like I don't know, invite me to watch.
yeah, why not?
No, that's exactly an option too. Some people are more voyeuristic.
Yeah.
But there's a certain amount of etiquette, so that part of this chapter was about the etiquette of when you go to your first orgy. Like we are not taught this in school.
Right.
So here's what you do when you go to your first orgy.
They should
Really
teach that
taught
in
anything
sex ed.
sex related.
Like you can watch at a distance that's not going to interfere with what they're doing. You don't just run up and like try to join in because you don't want to interrupt them. And they're like, and they said there's really no occasion and no smooth way to jump into something that is already progressing unless they motion you over. But there's no way to approach it. If you're late to the party on that with that group, then you're just gonna have to find a new group.
Yeah. Oh.
Always bring your own towel.
yeah.
That's what I've been told. Make sure you don't sit anywhere naked.
Wear galoshes.
Well, if you're watching out there and you've been to a pansexual orgy, please write us. We would love to hear about it and any of your experiences. So email us, alwaysopen@roosterteeth.com. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions for us or ideas for segments, please send them our way. We'd love to have them. Also, I wanted to mention that our shot glasses are available in the Rooster Teeth store. So go pick one up so you could do a shot with us every episode.
Drink in my honor, please.
And thank you so much, ladies, for joining me.
Thanks for having
And thank
us.
everyone for watching. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.